This is a weird release from Omega. This is a black ceramic Seamaster with the invisibility dial. I might have made that up. So there are a few watches in Omega's black ceramic line, these, and this one is the most extreme version of all of them. And it's got the price to match. Omega launched this watch a couple of years back. I think this was meant to be an experiment to outdo the, at the time, recently launched Tudor Black Ceramic. It certainly one-ups that watch in multiple categories, mainly popularity, movement is debatable because they're both METAS certified, but there's also price, and there's illegibility. So we all know Omega to be a brand that loves to experiment with their watches. I don't think there isn't a Speedmaster or Seamaster for every single person on this earth in terms of preference. They've made that many watches. Well, they've made that many editions of the same watches. So what does this particular version of the Seamaster really bring to the table? Ceramic is the on-paper answer, but the real answer is to appeal to those that have interest in that matte, black, everything look. I'm looking at you, Marquez. So why did Omega make this watch in ceramic? Firstly, it's the best way to make a blacked out, cool looking watch. So ceramic is essentially a really hard material, and that means that it doesn't scratch. It is brittle, but don't think of this ceramic as the China play ceramics that you have at home. This is more like a metal. It's a metal oxide. This particular version is zirconia or zirconium dioxide, as you can see printed on the dial. You should really be thinking of it as a metal that's really scratch resistant, and also the color. This black color is really nice. The additional point that's used is ceramics weigh significantly less than regular stainless steel. But is that really true? Do you really feel that in terms of this watch? Well, not really. If you take a look at the density of ceramic, it's about 5.6 grams per cubic centimeter, and steel is at 8 grams. So that is not that much of a noticeable difference. So it doesn't feel on the wrist noticeably different. But if you compare the two, a steel version and the ceramic version, you would notice a difference. I don't think that's the relevant point. The weight reduction is not really the point here. So the material reason is the scratch resistance. That's the marketing, advertising play. And it is harder than steel. It doesn't scratch as easily. That is a noticeable benefit. But the real reason is just to sell it at a higher price point. I mean, you've got every single price point in terms of the Omega Seamaster. So you start off with the base steel, and then you got all sorts of additions. You then get into the precious metal. So they want to cover the whole range and appeal to everybody. I don't think there's anything wrong in that. It's great to have variety, but you should see it for what it is. Well, they're at least not trying to appeal to someone that already recognizes Omega's place in the watch industry. They're trying to appeal to a new sector of the market, someone that wouldn't typically buy such a watch, but thinks that this blacked out aesthetic looks cool. And there is actually a good segment of the market that does like this. To me, it's clear Omega is not targeting watch enthusiasts with this. They're looking for that Breitling, Avenger, the all blacked out military aesthetic market. And that's people who are not extreme watch enthusiasts. Usually they like watches or they find them cool, but they like the look and they like something rugged on their wrist. And this does that. But the one big problem with this watch, it's cool looking, but you can't tell the time. It's literally so extreme in terms of how blacked out it is with the dial and the hands. It is virtually impossible to read the time on this when the lighting conditions are not optimal. I had difficulty filming this watch because I had to have a lot more light, and that creates reflections and doesn't make it look that aesthetic. In a dimly lit room, good luck seeing the time on this. It does have lume, but it's not that strong, and when you really need it, it's not charged, so you're not really going to see it. If it's pitch black at night, then you'd be able to read the time, which is kind of funny. I think the reason Omega took this watch too far is because they really wanted to go to the other extreme in terms of the aesthetics. They have got other blacked out ceramic versions, the sane ones, the ones most people would buy. But there's that 1% of the 1% of this market that wants this to the next level. And that's exactly what Omega did. And I think that's a great thing. It's really nice to see that this tiny, minuscule section of the market is also being recognized. But for the vast majority of people, this is absolutely not the watch. Omega knew that they're completely sacrificing most of the market, but in order to really stand out and capture the 1%, you have to be quite niche, and that's exactly what they've done. That's why they have all the other versions of the ceramic watch, the same versions that actually tell the time.